Alright, so welcome to today's lesson. Today we are looking at the sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God. That's the first topic in the CRS syllabus. Yes, this is your CRS teacher said family. Yes, so under the sovereignty of God, we have the creation stories. Sovereignty talks about the fact that you decide on your own. You do whatever you like. You are sovereign. So if you are a sovereign state, it means that you do things according to your own pace and dictate. Yes, so God created things according to his own wisdom, his own power, and according to his own will. So that's the sovereignty of God. And we have two creation stories. The first creation story is from the book of Genesis. So yes, Genesis chapter 1 up to chapter 2 verses 4a. Yes. And the second one is from the same Genesis chapter 2 verses 4b to 25. Okay. So now the first creation story. The first creation story is an orderly account. Orderly in the sense that they were created in a chronological manner, with each item assigned to a day. So it begins by saying that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was void and without form, and darkness moved over the face of the waters or the deep. And God said that, let there be light, and there was light. So now there is light, so the earth is brightened, and God saw that it was good. So that was the first day. The first day God created only light. And so the light, I don't know whether the sun is part, because on the fourth day there was another light. So this one is normal light from God himself. In heaven there is light, but there is no sun. So I understand this kind of light. Now the second day, God created the firmament or the sky to separate the waters above and the waters below. So that's it. So in the exam, if you are writing the essay, the most important points are what I am giving you. So second day, it was just firmament. Then on the third day, he created the dry land, the sea, and then vegetation. Yes, so that's it. It's enough for the third day. And then on the fourth day, he created other lights. Greater lights to rule the day, like the sun. I am talking in the day, so I can see that the sun is giving us light. So the sun to rule the day, that's greater light. And the lesser light to rule the night, that is the moon and the stars to rule the night. Any other natural light you will see in the night is a lesser light. So in the night you can check whether you can see moon or stars. If you are not seeing stars at all, it means that maybe you are not on earth. You have to relocate back to the earth. And then, so that was on the fourth day. And the lights, according to God, were for signs, seasons, days, and years. So no wonder geography will be teaching us more on rotation and revolution, because God said that that's what the lights are supposed to be used for. Now, on the fifth day, God created some kinds of animals, and specifically he created the birds of the air and then fishes in the sea. So we can think of any bird at all, and then fishes, maybe salmon or amane or sardine. They were created on the fifth day. And then on the sixth day, which is the last active day in creation, God created other animals on land. So animals that are walking on land. You can talk about snakes or reptiles. You can talk about livestock at home. You can talk about wild animals. Yes. So these were the animals that were created on the sixth day. And in addition to that, God said, let us create man in our own image and in our own likeness, to rule over the things, or to have dominion over the things that we have created. So he created man in his image, male and female, at the same time. Yeah. So male and female originated from God. So we can see both sides in God. And then on the last day, God rested. God rested. So the first creation story is in an orderly manner, because things that were needed were created first before the things that will depend on them. So for instance, animals will have to feed on plants, and they have to even drink water. So water and plants were created on the third day. Before the animals, some were created on the fifth day and some on the sixth day. Of course, human beings, you and I, we will need all these things for survival. That's why God made sure that there were plants for food, there were animals, there was water for us to drink before He created us on the sixth day. So that is the first creation story. Let me move on quickly to the second creation story, from Genesis chapter 2 verses 4b to 25. Now with the second creation story, it is not done in an orderly manner like that. And I was quite surprised when I was reading the thing, because it says that when God created heaven and the earth, there was nothing on the earth. There was no plant, no herb, no vegetation. So the earth was a sakura earth, dry land. It was dry. If you know anybody who has sakura, you can go and touch the head. If the person beats you, don't come and complain to me. So it was a sakura land. And the reason that the Bible gave was that it was because there was no rain. The Lord has not caused it to rain yet. And the second reason is that there was no man to till the earth. So two reasons: no rain, no man. Obviously, God will have to create either or both of them. So God decided to create man first. So He formed man from the dust and breathed into his nostrils, and man became a living being. So without the breath of God in you, you cannot be alive. So the moment God takes His breath, you will die. So the breath of God in you is the spirit in you that makes you alive, and nobody can give that spirit. That's why scientists are not able to create human beings like the way God created. They can only create robots to be controlled. So your very existence, you owe it to God. Now, man is created, so man must eat. You like food. As you are watching me, I know you like food. So you must eat. Therefore, God decided to give man food. But He decided to plant a garden in Eden, in the eastern part of the earth. You can Google and search for countries in the eastern part of the earth. You will be able to see India, Iraq, and even Pakistan. So the garden was planted in Eden, in the east. And there God put man in the garden before He even caused the plants to grow like that. And I'm sure as the plants were growing from the earth, Adam was seeing it. And plants have been grown. So you can think of cassava growing from the earth like that, plantain, corn, and all. Plants have been done. Now, plants will need water to survive. Because before, it was a mist that was watering the earth. Mist is like a dew. Dew is not strong enough to water plants. So then, there was a need for a garden. So a garden flowed out of Eden to water the garden. And this garden divided into four. The first one was, the river divided into four. The first river is called the Pishon. Then the second is Gihon. They are not English words, neither are they your local language, so you just have to memorize it. I normally say that the easiest way to know is the fact that they sound like Chinese, like Pishon, like Pension. So Pishon, and then you are good to go. And then Gihon too is like that. Yes, and then the third river is Tigris, and the last is Euphrates. So that watered the garden. Interestingly, God didn't create rain. So I suspect that Adam was practicing irrigation. So our great masters, if you are practicing irrigation, Adam must have been the first to practice irrigation. We should be fine. Now, God told Adam that You must till the earth and keep it. 2 duties. Till the earth and then keep it. So farm the earth and then keep the earth. Keep the earth clean. And you realize that even today, if you don't pay attention to do these 2 key things, the economy will not be well. Ghana's economy is poor because we have not paid attention to agric. We are not tilling the earth the way we are supposed to. And we end up importing some things as simple as tomatoes. Can you imagine? We import tomatoes from Burkina. And we even import rice from Nigeria here. Look at the number of people in Nigeria, far more than us. And yet we unashamedly import rice from them. It's because we have not obeyed the instruction. Till the earth and keep it. If you don't keep the earth to malaria, will catch you. Cholera will catch you. So you must make sure that you keep your environment clean. I have my backyard garden. I am tilling the earth. You can watch my video on the backyard garden and you'll be fine. So as man is tilling the earth, definitely man will eat. So God gave instruction that man can eat from all the trees in the garden, with the exception of one, which is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God said Adam should not eat from it. Otherwise, the very day that he will eat it, he will die. So that was the instruction. And God said that it is not good for man to live alone. Therefore, I'll make him a helper fit for him. And God didn't create Eve right after that. After God said that, he created the animals. He formed the animals from the ground. In the second creation story, God formed animals from the dust of the earth. And after that, gave the animals, brought them to man, that man should name the animals. And whatever name man gave to the animals, that was its name. So any animal at all that you see around, it was Adam that named them. And that's why today we keep naming things, because God instructed us to name things. So you have a name, your father gave you a name, and God recognizes that name. So God will address you by the name that was given to you by your father. And Bible says that, but as for man, there was no companion, no helper befitting him. It means that Adam couldn't have enough companionship with the animals. So he commanded Adam to fall into a deep sleep, removed one of his ribs, and created the woman. I don't know the time Adam woke up from sleep, but you realize that the moment God finished creating the woman, Adam was up already and singing praises to the woman. That this at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Because she was having the same stature as man. Of course, with something protruded here, with finer shape. And Adam was happy. And Bible says that for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be cleansed to his wife. And the two shall become one flesh. And he continues to say that they were both naked, but were not ashamed. It means that the only way you can be naked before somebody and not ashamed is when the person is your partner in terms of marriage. Apart from that, you should be ashamed of yourself to present yourself naked before any other person. And God created Eve, not Steve. So don't practice gayism and lesbianism. That's not the original intent of God. Adam said, she shall be called woman because she was created out of man. So it is a man and a woman that are supposed to marry, not man and man, or woman and woman. Not man and animals, or woman and animals, because before God created the woman, there were animals, and yet he had to create the woman for the man. So that is it. Now, let's look at some few similarities and differences. Similarities, in both of the accounts, God is the creator. That is one. Secondly, both accounts agree that God is one. Thirdly, the created things were perfect and good. Yes, the created things were perfect and good. And also in both creation accounts, we can see the institution of marriage in both accounts. And also in both accounts, everything owes its existence to God. Every natural thing owed its existence to God. Yes. Now let's look at some few differences too. As I said already, in the first creation account, creation was done in an orderly manner, with each item created assigned to a particular day from day 1 to day 6. But the second account is not like that. There is no particular order, and it looks as if everything was done within a day. Another difference is that in the first account, God gave all plants for food without any restriction. But in the second account, God said that man can eat from every tree except one. That is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then the next is that in the first account, man was created last. But in the second account, man was created first. Yes. And closely related to that, which is the next point, in the first account, man and woman were created at the same time. But in the second account, man was created first before the woman was created later. Yes. So these are the differences. When you read, you'll be able to get more differences from the story. Yes. Thank you very much. Don't forget to share, like, and then subscribe. Thank you.